You've seen that when we create our cat object, so here we say cat and then rows, and we can even do var here if you want. So you've learned about the var keyword, but in here, when we say rows, then we have to set the name in here. But let's say that we basically want to pass the name for rows at the time where we create the instance. So similar for a string. So remember, we said string and then foo equals to new string. And here I can pass bar inside, right? So ignore original colon, but here I can pass bar inside. Now the contents of this string will be bar, right? So I didn't have to basically say like this. So I didn't have to create the string empty and then say foo dot set and then string or the value. So how do we do it? Well, so this is done through something called a constructor. So let's have a look. Open up cat, and in here let's have public and then say cat. So basically cat, just like that. And this is a constructor in here. Now this actually takes as many parameters that we need. So in our case, it's very simple. So we want to have the ability of creating a cat by passing the name. So here I can say string and then name. And now I'm going to say this dot name. And again, this corresponds to the current instance of the current class equals to name. So this right here is the same as we've done with the setter, right? But now at the point where we are creating the cat, have a look, now we have an error and we can just pass the arguments. So here I just want to say rows. So what I'm going to do is in this instance, I'm going to basically remove this because now rows has the name rows in here. And don't add name colon because this is IntelliJ. And again, if I show you, so I can say do not show hints. And you can see that's gone, but I kind of like it because then I know, then I know in which order I need to pass my arguments. So this is basically constructors. Now, let me just comment this for a second and let me run this. And you can see that now we have rows, meow, and then rows. So this works as expected. If I go back in here, let's basically add another property. So I'm going to say private and then int age colon, and let's have the getters and setters for age. So in here, I'm going to say, get age, set, and then age. So you can see that IntelliJ gives me auto completion for getters and setters. And later I'll show you how to generate these much faster. But let's just scroll up. Now, at the time where we basically create the cat, we can also pass the age. So here I can say int age this dot age equals to age. There we go. And if I go back to main, now I need to pass age in here. And let's say that Rose, she is 2 years. Let me also duplicate this. And let's say Rose get and then age. If I run this, have a look, we have Rose and then 2. So Rose, she's 2 years. So this is basically constructors in action. So constructors allows you to pass values at the point of initialization for your object. So as you say new, you can pass whatever default values that you want instead of using setters to set each field individually. Because now, have a look, if I wanted to basically, if I didn't have the constructor in here, I would need to go and say rows dot set age 2 and then rows set name and then rows. So you can see that this is long-winded. So instead, because I already know the values that I want this object to have, so the default values, I can just basically pass them within the constructor. Next, let me teach you about the default constructor.